All right, let's get into it. Tucked away in a Norwegian valley, there's a building that honestly looks like it was ripped straight out of a fantasy novel. I mean, it's this dark, towering thing made completely of wood, and it's crowned with these snarling dragon heads. But this isn't fantasy. It's a real church, and it's somehow been standing for over 800 years.
Just take a look at it. This is the Borgund Stave Church, built right around the year 1200. Now, to put that in perspective, that's when the age of the Vikings was still a pretty fresh memory. We're talking deep in the Middle Ages. The whole outside is coated in this dark, protective pine tar, which gives it that incredible ancient look.
And that really brings us to the biggest question, the central mystery of it all. In a place with a climate as harsh as Scandinavia, how on earth does a wooden building survive for 8 centuries? It's outlasted countless stone castles and cathedrals. Well, the answer, it lies in some truly brilliant medieval engineering.
You know, to really understand just how special Borgund is, you have to see it for what it is, a precious, precious relic. It's one of the absolute best preserved examples of an architectural style that once covered the Norwegian landscape but is now pretty much vanished.
Its journey through time is just remarkable. Built sometime between 1180 and 1250, it served its community for almost 700 years straight. Then, in 1868, a new church was built right next door. Now, at that point, Borgund could have easily been demolished, and so many others were. But instead, just a few years later, it was bought by a preservation society, which, thank goodness, saved it for all of us to see today.
So, how did they build it to last? What's the secret? Well, it isn't magic. It's all in its one-of-a-kind construction, a nail-free masterpiece of interlocking wood.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is a stave church? The name comes right from its building blocks. See, the walls are made of these massive vertical planks of wood, and those are called staves. This is totally different from, say, a log cabin, where all the logs are stacked horizontally.
The process is just so simple yet so brilliant. First, you build a stone foundation. This is absolutely crucial because it lifts all that precious wood off the damp soil and prevents rot. Then, on top of the stone, a massive timber frame called ground sills is laid down. After that, the vertical staves are slotted into grooves in that frame. Everything interlocks with these perfect tongue and groove joints. And get this, no nails, no metal bolts. The entire church is held together by precision-cut wood and the force of gravity. This also means the building has a little bit of flex, letting it shift with heavy winds and snow instead of just breaking.
Now, if you talk to an architect, they'll often describe the building as a cube within a cube. And this little phrase is really the key to understanding how it supports that massive tiered roof.
Okay, let's break that down. Have a look at the drawing on the left. It shows you the inner structure. Those super tall, continuous columns form the inner cube. They go from the ground floor all the way up to support the highest part of the roof. Now look at the photo on the right. That's the actual interior. You can see how those powerful columns are connected by those arch braces and the X-shaped trusses. Those are called St. Andrew's crosses. This inner frame carries all the weight, which means the outer walls are basically just a protective shell. It's an unbelievably strong and flexible system. But the engineering genius, as cool as it is, isn't the only thing that captures your imagination. We gotta look up to the most famous and honestly, the most mysterious features of the whole church, the dragons.
I mean, just look at the detail here. These stylized dragon heads, they jut right out from the gables. It is a direct visual link to the dragon heads that used to be on the prows of Viking ships. They look fierce, they look protective, and they feel undeniably pagan.
Which of course leads to the big question. When this church was built, Norway had officially been Christian for over 100 years. So why would you decorate a house of God with symbols pulled straight out of Norse mythology?
Well, there are 2 main theories. The first is that they're a pagan holdover. The idea is that as the culture was slowly shifting from Old Norse beliefs to Christianity, these familiar, powerful symbols just kind of stuck around. The second theory is that they're Christian guardians, put there to literally scare away evil spirits and protect the church. In that sense, they could even symbolize evil itself, defeated and put on display by the church's power. We'll probably never know for sure, but it shows this fascinating blend of 2 different worlds.
All right, now let's step out of the light for a second and venture inside, into the dark, almost completely untouched medieval interior of this place.
The atmosphere inside is immediate, it's powerful. And it was designed to be dark on purpose. The windows are just these tiny little slits, and that wasn't just for structural reasons. It was believed that wide openings were like an open door for evil spirits to just slip right in.
And if you look closely at the tops of the columns, you'll see these grotesque carved masks of humans and animals staring right back at you. It really feels like you're stepping directly into the medieval mind.
And the history here isn't silent. It is literally carved into the walls. This is one of the most incredible finds, a runic inscription, basically ancient graffiti left by a man named Thorir. In it, he's complaining about his troubles and he blames the Norns, the female beings from Norse mythology, who were believed to control people's destiny.
But here's what's so fascinating. Right near runic graffiti like Thorir's, you can find other carvings that just say Ave Maria, Hail Mary. It's the perfect snapshot of that moment in time. You have a person praying the Ave Maria, but maybe still blaming the Norns for their problems. The old ways and the new faith just living side by side, etched into the very wood of the church.
So this building hasn't just survived the elements for centuries. It's also survived the threat of human progress, transforming from a simple parish church into a global icon.
1868, this is the pivotal year. This is when the new Borgund Church opened its doors and this old stave church was officially decommissioned. You have to understand, in that era, hundreds of these stave churches were being torn down all across Norway to make way for bigger, more modern buildings. Borgund was right on the brink of being lost forever.
And this photograph, it just captures that moment perfectly. You can see the ancient, dark, fantastical stave church on the left, and right beside it is the new, plain, light-colored church that was built to replace it. This image really represents the crossroads it was at, demolition or preservation. And lucky for us, preservation won.
But Borgund's story didn't just end with it becoming a museum. Its incredible design and its story of survival have given it this whole second life, inspiring people far, far beyond Norway's borders.
I mean, its architectural DNA has literally spread across the globe. From Germany all the way to the American Midwest, in places like South Dakota and Wisconsin, communities have built these loving, detailed replicas. Each one is a tribute to the genius of those medieval Norwegian builders. So, as we wrap this up, it kind of leaves you with a thought. Borgund Stave Church has told us incredible stories of faith, of fear, engineering, and huge cultural change. And it just makes you wonder, what stories will the buildings we create today tell about us 800 years from now?